Samma sambuddhassa namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Dear friends, so happy to have been invited into this home to share some Dhamma. So, as I was not given much of a topic to talk about, first would like to offer each of you the opportunity of cleansing your precepts and then to take a discussion on what is called Chitta Chaitasika Rupa. And we'll start from there to carry on about the nature of existence. So, to purify your precepts, I would like to offer all of you all the precepts. So, please say the Namaskara and start the precepts. Put a high again there. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, Saranagamana sampunyang Phanatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami, Adhinnadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami, Kame Sumhichachara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami, Musahavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami, Pisuna Vacha Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami, Parusaha Vacha Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami, Sampappalapa Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami, Mithya Ajiva Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami, Tisaranena Sadding Ajivattamaka Dhammang Sahadukang Surakkitang Katva Appamade Tabbang. So to all those of you who take up other precepts of Sura Mere Majjapamada Dana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhi, determine that as well. For those of you of other beliefs and whatever, as the 10 commandments, if you follow, thou shalt not follow those 10 and make your promises and refresh them again. And in this manner, this is the nature of abstinences. So determining how you are to live the abstinences. That's all this practice of Pali as well. So, to start with, right, all of us said Buddha, what do we say? Buddhan saranang gacchami. Then we said Dhamman saranang gacchami. Then we said, okay, so what do you think you said? Why did you say it? Is it because I asked you to say it? Or you said it with some other conviction? Why did you say Buddhan saranang gacchami, Dhamman saranang gacchami, Sangham saranang gacchami? And what does saranang gacchami mean? Surrender. Yeah, very good. Surrender of what? Exactly. I take surrender or refuge in the name of what? The word of Buddha, the word of Dhamma, and the word of Sangha. So what does these three words of Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha mean? I take refuge and surrender to the Buddha as the Buddha, the name of a teacher. I surrender to a teacher. I take refuge in a teacher. Second, Dhamma. I take refuge in the teachings. And I take refuge as a follower of the teachings. Okay? So, all of you here have already committed your life to a teacher or teachers, to their teachings, and are followers of the teaching. Okay, how many of you follow Einstein as a teacher? What is his teaching? Science. And who are the followers of science? Scientists. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Universal in its existence. Okay, how many of you follow your mother? All of you have a mother, right? So a mother is a teacher. Yeah? What does she teach? Values. And who are the followers? The children of the mother. Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. So Christ is a teacher, right? What is his teaching? Love. Christianity or Catholicism identified as a scripture. And who are the followers? Christians or Catholics. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So, in this nature, there was somebody called Gautama Buddha. Sakya Muni, Gautama Buddha, a teacher. And he taught or expounded the nature of humanness as called the Dhamma. And then he said, the people who follow this Dhamma are called the Sangha. Universal. So, in most Sinhalese, the word Sangha means a person who's wearing a robe. But even people who are not wearing a robe, who follow the Dhamma, are the Sangha. You don't have to be wearing a robe. So there is bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, upasaka and upasikas, who are all part of Sangha. So good, you understand now, my dear, yeah? So there's always a teacher, there's always the teachings, and always the people who choose to follow the teachings. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So all what you taken is a refuge. Once, twice, and thrice that you will follow a teacher, the teachings, and the following of the Dhamma, of the truth. Yeah? Very simple to understand. You didn't say that you were going to be a Buddhist. You only said that I'm going to be a follower of the Dhamma. So let's find out what the Dhamma is. What the Dhamma is. What is it that Buddha expounded? Yeah? So Buddha, he says that this world exists and exists with life and forms of life that conforms to what is called sanskaras. A word given by him as sanskara. He says that the word sanskara is wherever anything appears or is born that continues for a while and ends itself, that whole procedure is called a sanskara. Yeah? Anything that is made or is started or is born or is appeared that exists for a while and ends itself is called a sanskara. Right? So what happens now? A thought begins, a thought continues, and what happens to thought? Ends. A breath begins, a breath continues, and a breath. A step begins, a step continues, and a step. Oh. A life is born, it exists, and it. So everything in this world conforms to nothing other than these three stages of step. It begins, it continues, and ends. And what do you think each one of us are about? We are all a beginning, we are all an existence, and we are all a ending. Constantly we are beginning things, constantly we are continuing with things, and constantly we are finishing things. You start to eat, you continue with eating, you end it. You start bathing, you continue bathing, you end it. So now he says to first investigate this nature of life, Dhamma Vichaya. And only when you investigate this life, you begin to understand of what his teachings are all about. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko. Pleasant is this teaching of this Dhamma. Sanditiko. Ditiko is to be seen. And it is to be seen here and now. Whatever that he expounded 2,600 years ago is present here and now. Akaliko. It was the same in the past, it's the same now, and it's the same, it will be the same in the future. Doesn't change. Akaliko. Ehi pasiko. To be seen in you. To be seen in each. Opanaiko. The moment you begin to say this, it makes you to progress on, to move on. Progressive. Pachatnang veditabbo. Only the people who have certain intellect can see the nature of your inside and the vinyana, vinyo. So only a person who can admit yourself and see yourself inside is a person who is to progress going forward, seeing the teachings of the Buddha. So now, to investigate, I would like all of you to participate with me in a few questionings. Right? So, son, were you born or were you created? Born. Who was born? Me. Who was born? Who was born? Eh? Yes, I was born. I was born. Who was born? Me?
Yeah.
And I. Yeah. Who was born? I was. So how many eyes do you think were born? Everybody who was born to this world, doesn't matter what caste, what creed, what religion, what nationality, they were all born as a eye. If you go and ask a dog who was born, what is the dog going to say? It's going to say, I was born. So here's the nature. Buddha says, what is born is first I, and the perception of I is born. It is I who is born. The ego and the selfishness of I is born first. It begins, it exists, and it ends. Sanskaras of I and the nature of selfishness, tanha. Now he says that this I never is on its own. It's always twinned or entwined. And entwined with me or for me. Yeah? So I always want things for me. I must do things that benefit me. I never do things that doesn't bring no benefit for me. So I and me are the best two friends together now. I always do things for me. And this I and me get together, my do, and go and possess things as mine. That is mine, this is mine, that is not mine, this is not mine. So I, who benefit me, now possesses things in this world as mine or not mine and happy about it. So Dad, who is this in front of you?
My son, Arjuna.
Arjuna? Who's?
My son,
Who is this?
Tusita.
Tusita. Who is he?
Dharmapriya's son.
Not my son. He is my son, he is not. But he is also a son. Yeah? Aren't you a son? Yeah. But I am not his son. I am this father. So now, very easily, these bits are mine, these bits are. Now, do you think you need a religion to understand this? No, you need to be a human being to understand this. You need to be a human being to understand this. I, who benefit me, now have possessed this world of things that are mine and things that are not mine. This is what Buddha taught. Atta, anatta. Self and selflessness. So everybody conforms to these three things. I is formed, I is born, me is formed, and I and me get together and make things and possess things as mine or not mine. So possessiveness is what's causing each one of us to now gather. And how much do you think we have? Little or a lot? So materially we have gathered, from relationship wise we have gathered, and now with both these things we have a lot of memory of what my gathering is, and I am walking around with this nature. Now whom am I talking about? Whom am I talking about? Whom do you think I'm talking about? People. You think I'm talking about people? Or you think I'm talking about me? Sorry? Yourself or me? You sure? Or am I talking about me?
Take it both ways.
You only have to take one way. Bhanthé, you are talking about me. The nature, everybody is a me, and Bhanthé, you are talking about this my me, this me in me. I am like that. So all life conforms to this I, me, mine. And I, me, or not mine. Right? So this is the first realization you need to have. Right. Now let's go to the next stage. The possession. What is mine? What is mine? Do you think everything is mine? No. What bit is mine? How do you select things that are mine? Yeah, how do you identify that this belongs to me? Do you go and go outside and get the garbage bag and pick things that are mine? If it has a value, take it, right? See, I knew that this word value and benefit have to come. So, Bhanthé, if it has a value and a benefit to me, and I like it, and I need it, and I want it, well, I possess it. If I don't need it, don't want it, don't like it, what do? I discard it. Now, here's how I am governed. So, suddenly, I am all about the things I like and the things I hate, dislike. Things I need and things I don't need. Things I want and things I Oh. Yeah? And this nature is what Buddha identifies as tanha. Now, we never use the word tanha in our transactions. When if somebody asks you, do you crave for or do you have tanha? First answer is, nah, we don't have no tanha. Do you have likes? Plenty. So this is why the realization of the teaching or the expoundation of the Dhamma is not brought on, because of the vocabulary we use to identify each one of these things. So now each one of you have likes and each one of you have dislikes, right? So Aki, who's Ami? Did Ami come? Who's Ami? Who? At the back there. Right. You're Ami, right? Huh. Now, do you like all the things your Ami like? All of them? Sure? Ami, do you like all the things your daughter likes? Can you see the problem now? The daughter seems to like all the things the mother likes, but the mother doesn't seem to like all the things the daughter likes. Now, do you think that there's some contradiction? Yeah? Now, we have a problem. Now, do you also dislike all the things Amma dislikes? Yes. Amma, do you dislike all the things the daughter dislikes? No. So, first problem, you may be born to a mother, you may be born to a father, but the father and the mother may have certain likes and dislikes, and the children need not follow with the same likes and dislikes. Now there is this nature of independence of life. So here starts the conflict. Everybody wants to be happy living the things they like. Is that right, my son? Yeah? You want to live happily, so you get all the things you like, right? So does your mother give all the things you like, my son? After 53 years, I am in the same boat. My mother doesn't give me all the things I like yet. And she makes me do things I don't like. So life is governed by this nature of my craving of likes and dislikes. And it's governed by the things I justify as needs and don't needs. And it's also governed by the needs of wants and don't want. So now can you see, right? Bhanthé seems to know a lot about, he seems to know a lot about me, right? Now who has told me about yours? Who? Yeah, myself. I am only investigating myself, and I am openly investigating myself, and it seems to be investigating each one of you as well. So now he says, right, the nature of this life is all experience, and the experience has been identified with the word dukkha. Right? So what do you think the translation or the explanation of dukkha is? Sadness. What else? Suffering. So there is this English vocabulary, and they seem to have explained the nature of dukkha with the words suffering or sadness. But sadness and suffering, Putta, is only a sensational experience. When we sensationally experience something, we say we are sad and we suffer with. But actually the experience of dukkha is 12-fold. He says, jhatipi dukkha. What does jati mean? Not to be born. To make things, to appear things, to start things, to begin things, to be born with. All these things that make the sanskaras, the beginnings, are all jati. If you start something, you are to experience what is called dukkha. You have to experience whatever the consequences of what you're starting, right? Okay, so now if all of us are to breathe and start a breath, you are to suffer with it until you finish it. Why? If by any chance there is a smell that you don't like, now what you have to do? You have to quickly do something to stop that breath. Otherwise you have to suffer with the smell that you don't like. So if you start something, you have to continue and end it, no? So every time you start something, you have to suffer with it. Suffer as in the experiential component. Yes. So, to be born to this body is an experience, and procedures in this body is also for the experience. All jati. Then he says, jara api dukkha. What is jara? Hard, don't want to even understand. Jara is the nature of decay. But not just decay. He says that anything that is born has to experience the nature of devaluation, the decay, the depreciation. So all the D words, the D words, decay, devalue, depreciate, all the D words is jara for me. In English, it is easy to explain like this. Yeah? So now, take us. How many of you have been born? All. Okay. So we have experienced birth. So how many of you are existing? All of us are surviving with the existence, right? Okay. So now, have you experienced jara? Have you been decaying?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah. We have been decaying, right? So now, conventionally, everybody has a birthday, right? The day everybody has a birthday. So that is the day that you were born. And from there, you add the number of years you lived, right? And you say age. How old is Ami? Don't say. But actually, the truth is not about the amount of time you have lived. When you live, when you are born with an expectancy. This body carries a best before date, expectancy. It is expected to live for this long. So all of us have lived part of it. And we only have so much left. So how much time has Amma left? Don't ask like that, Bhanthé. Because it's not a conventional thing to ask how long another person has to live. But that is the truth. Each one of us should realize that we only have whatever the leftover out of what we've lived before it ends. Now, are we frightened that we have less to live? No. Huh? There are individuals who are frightened of, but not others. We'll deal with it when he comes to it. Blasé thing, no? Yeah, we are not frightened of death. We'll face death when it comes, and there is the medical treatment and all these things that will resuscitate and do all these things to get me back online. Yeah, ventilate it and do whatever so I can get it back online again. Isn't that the reassurance you all have? Huh? Health insurances and all these things. Yeah, but you're not frightened to die. I know the procedure of technology is such that it will make me live a little bit longer. So we are not frightened. So like this, each one of you have a perception of how to survive. How to survive this jara, the decay. Yeah? Thanks to that Garnier or somebody, there's anti-aging. Thanks to the refrigerator, there's all these things that you can stick it in there and extend the life of whatever that you eat, right? Don't allow it to decay, right? There is the preservatives or whatever, you put alcohol and sugar and whatever and keep it for a little bit longer. Dosi. Yeah, puhul dosi and all. Yeah. You can preserve things, right? So like this, we have gone beyond the nature of the truth to extend the life of something and seems to be okay with it. And then next he says that there is the nature of bihadi. Jati, jara, bihadi. He says that this life, once it begins to exist, has a lot of obstructions. Obstructiveness. Obstruction with illnesses, obstruction with all matter of things. Yeah? So how many of you are being obstructed at the moment? Yeah. All of us. All the time. When the moment of a dislike is present, there is obstruction. When the moment somebody disrupts your likes, there is a disruption. So Bihadi is present all the time. Now, in most texts, that is the literature that you have of explanation, the word Bihadi is explained as illnesses. But it is much more than illnesses. Even when you keep a step outside and trample a stone, and if that hurts you, that is a Bihadi, obstructiveness. Taking the pleasantnesses away from this body. So, in the meditation, there's a lot to realize, lot to consider. And now he says, Maranam. Maranampi dukkam. Maranam is a nature of ending. And not the death of, but when whatever procedure you end, you experience a nature of dukkha. So when you eat and when you finish, is it pleasant or unpleasant? It depends what you have eaten and what you have to do after, no? If somebody doesn't wash your hand for you, then you have to go and wash your own hand and the plate. Yeah, eating is okay, but after that there is always the consequences of eating. Now you have to digest what you have eaten, you have to absorb it into the body as the energy, whatever that is left over as excrements of the, got rid of. It's the consequences of dukkha. It doesn't matter, even if you drink water, you have to understand how to filter it and get rid of whatever that is excess. It is not pleasant. Yeah? And this body is not a pleasant thing at all, right? Yeah, you put whatever, you may put whatever pleasant that is inside, and moment it goes inside, you never touch it again. Yeah, in liquid, solid or gas form it comes, you don't touch it because it's unpleasant. So, in this manner, jati, jara, bhyadi, marana are all an experience of dukkha. And we, in English, we just say suffering. It is much more than that in the explanation. And now he says, piye hi vipayogo dukkho. This is interesting. So now, all of you have likes. So, Aki, when you have likes, does Malli come and take away the things you like? When Malli comes and takes away what you like, is it pleasant or unpleasant? Wow. What do you do to your anger? Do you increase it or decrease it? You decrease it or you get more angry? I get more angry. And now whom do you blame? Whom do you blame? Yeah, you blame your brother. Amazing. You like something, somebody comes and disrupts what you like, you become unpleasant with it, you become angry with it, and you blame the other person for disrupting what you like. Right, we'll find, Bhuta, are there things you don't like? Yeah? Does your mother make you do things you don't like? Is it pleasant or unpleasant? Unpleasant. What happens to your anger? It decreases. Whom do you blame after that? My mother. All of us in this room are like this. All of us in this room are exactly this. Now, my question is, do you think each one of us have had a free choice to choose the things we like and choose the things we dislike? No? Why not? Tell me anything you didn't have a choice to like or dislike. Take time. Even through obedience, you like certain things. Because you want to be the best son or the daughter, you like things. Or dislike things, or avoid things because of the obedience. Because you want the praise. Because you want the fame. So in this manner, each one of us have a free choice to choose the things we like and choose the things we dislike. And now when people are around us are behaving in a way and disrupts the few things we like and the few things we dislike, we choose to be unpleasant, angry, and threateningly go blame other people without little questioning my free choice that I had. Now, do you think each one of you have been fair up to now? Blaming everybody in this world? Do you think we have been fair? Hard to question, right? Whom am I questioning about? Myself. You are talking about me, Bhanthé. And I haven't been fair. Fair by me and fair by the few people around me. And these people may be the few people I love the most. But I may have been blaming them the most. So now in the Karaniya Metta Sutta, if Buddha says that one should not blame another, oh, do you think you've been living the Karaniya Metta Sutta? No. But do you think you have been reciting the Karaniya Metta Sutta? Enough and more times. We may talk about the metta, but we don't seem to want to live the metta. Right. So now, the next thing is about the nature of yam picca na labati tampi dukkha. Now he says that this existence is all driven by expectation. All driven by? Right. We expect the things we like to be given and the things we dislike to be avoided, right? Yes. And do you think everybody listens to me? No. So now what happens with my expectations? Are they fulfilled? It fades away, my dear. It fades away. So now, I am now not only suffering with my choice of likes and dislikes, the expectation associated is also now disrupted. Now I am even more angry. Now, not only I have expectations of other people who don't seem to be performing, other people have expectations on me, and I seem to be doing all what I can to fulfill their expectation. And are they appreciative of what I do? Huh? No. So, Ami, I do, Bhanthé. They are never satisfied with what I... Finish the sentence for me.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are never satisfied with what I do. They have taken me for granted. Rarely do they appreciate the things I do. And I do not know when this is to end. Whom am I talking about? Still me. Now, it's a laughable thing for me to explain this in this way. But this is the practicality of what Buddha has said. This is what he said. That we set expectations and others set expectations on us. And we perform and others aren't satisfied with our performances. It's a huge problem. And this is because I was born. If I was not born, would any of these things happen? No. So who's to be blamed now? It's me. I am to be blamed for being born. So I choose to blame everybody? Yes. It is me to be blamed, my dear. This is a Dhamma. The Buddha says, admit the fact that me is the blame and everything, I cause everything and everything happens because of me. I am the cause of all my experiences and everything happens because of So, when you begin to investigate yourself, this is what happens. Ehi Passiko is about looking at yourself in this way. Now, how many of you feel relieved now? Do you feel light? Yeah. So the moment you begin to investigate yourself and look at yourself, this body becomes lighter and lighter, and this mind becomes lighter and lighter. So the serenity and tranquility, piti passaddhi, is present in this body. This is enlightenment, bojjhangas. Now you are feeling the experience of enlightenment, bojjhangas. Mindfulness is present. The Dhamma Vichaya, the Dhamma is being investigated inside you, virya. Now we are now stopping the deteriorations and putting the right effort in here. The moment this happens, piti sambojjango passaddhi. The tranquility and the serenity is present in there. Now the concentration is associated. Why? I am looking at myself. I don't feel time moving on. Now, upekka sambojjango. You become neutral with whatever the inside. Why? You don't blame another no more. Now you are seeing yourself for what it is in truth. This is enlightenment. This is what it says to live the bojjhangas. So we've only taken dukkha and to investigate. And now he says, pancha upadana skandha dukkha. So now he says about the nature of a component called the aggregation. There are 5 things: rupa, vedana, sanya, sanskara, vijnana. These 5 are taken and aggregated all the time. We'll come to that discussion in a moment. And in this aggregation, it is like concrete. You know, concrete are also called aggregates, yeah? You take rock, bits of metal, you put sand and cement and water and mix it up, put it into a shape, something, and stick it in there. And the moment you stick it in there, it now, what? Becomes solid, and that shape and form now stays as long as you want. So each one of us constantly aggregates and forms. And that form is what we are suffering with. What we make is what we are living with. Right. So now he says that this nature of this I, me, mine has the likes and the dislikes and the expectations. And these things are now driven and governed by lobha, dvesa, moha. Lobha is a nature of selfishness. Dvesa is a nature of aversiveness. Moha is a nature of delusion. Okay, how many of you are selfish? Not me, Bhanthé, not me. I am not selfish. I share things I have. Do you think selfishness is about the nature of sharing, or is it much more than sharing? Ma'am, may I ask you now? In anything you participate in transaction, do you do things to bring gain, or do you do things to bring a loss in it?
Yeah, gain.
Gain. If there is a loss, do you participate? No. No gain, no make. I'm not there. So every one of us, in whatever we do, we only participate if it is to bring you a gainful outcome. So what do you think is now causing you to judge gain? My selfishness is the first task that causes me to judge benefit to me. Selfless people will always judge benefit to another. Now tell me how selfish each one of you are. Bhanthé, you're showing something that I have never gone to look at before, right? Manu, do you always accept your husband's opinion and view? Why? I don't seem to be able to relate with the benefit he sees. So therefore, I don't listen to his opinions. or is judgment. So I want to have my own opinion listened to all the time. And now you tell me how selfish you are. How selfish do you think each one of us are now? This world may not be big enough to hold and accommodate my selfishness. I am that selfish. Now, selfishness is in this way. Now, the delusion, moha, is when you try to justify yourself, defend and protect whatever that you have possessed and that you have made. That is what is called delusion, moha. Now talk about delusion and moha. What do you think you are doing all the time? Continuing to justify your own opinions and judgment, right? And always protecting your own, defending your own. So now how deluded are we? If a computer operates on Windows or whatever, each one of us operates on this selfishness and the delusion. And when we don't get our own way, now we are the most angry. Dvesha. Now how angry is each one of us? Every time what we like is disrupted, we are angry. Every time what we don't like is made to live with, we are angry. Every expectation that is not fulfilled, we are angry. Every expectation we perform and others don't appreciate, we are angry. Now, it is not only this that we are driven by. Let's just ask, Sana, does Papa occasionally punish you? Sometimes. Why does he punish you? Because you do wrong? Sometimes. Or do you think that because he doesn't like what I'm doing, he punishes me? You want to ask him, Papa, do you punish son because he has done wrong, or he has done something that may be wrong, but also I don't like him doing so? Oh.
I don't like.
Yeah. I don't like him doing what he's doing. And maybe that it is wrong as well at times. But more than this, you punish him for the fear that you have that if he continues to do these things, that society will start blaming you, and you're frightened of blame and failure in your role as a father bringing up a child like this. And never do you want to admit this fear that you have inside you. Whom am I talking about? Me. Still me. Bhanthé knows a lot about me, no? Now, if you read books, you will read a lot of books of sutras and the explanation of sutras. But never do you get to investigate yourself, ehipassiko, in this way. Only when you investigate and admit the fact that you begin to understand how the dvesha, the aversifulness, is present now because of fear of role, fear of what you like and the disruption of it, fear of the dislike and having to live with it, fear of the expectations and the fulfillment of it. And like this, I am driven mostly to being angry, to protect myself in a deluded way. Now, to me, this hour or so of discussion is what the curriculum in a school should be. Would you agree with me? Exposed as to how to live in this world with other people. Yeah, because all school children will enlighten. And we will have the most peaceful community to live with. Each person will know how to live with another person. How to set the expectations that can be performed and never be sad that the expectations of fulfilled are not delivered. So this is how the Buddha explains how a society should be built. And his expoundation as to how a human being behaves. Doesn't matter what the caste, the creed, the religion they come from. So his teachings are universal to all people who are born as human. Right? So you don't have to worship it, you just have to see it in you and adjust it to the needs of the people around you. Right? So now what he says is that in this nature of lobha, dvesa, moha, each one of us are justifying and justifying and justifying our existence. So he then identifies that this existence of humanness is all about a cause and effect. How many of you know about this cause and effect? How many of you know? Have you been part to this causation? Yeah? How much? How much of a part do you think you have played? 100%. Can we investigate it? If you were to consider your existence, it has the past, it has the present, and it has the future. How many of you can remember your past? All of you? May I question your past? Can you remember? How many of you can remember this morning? Is it the past, this morning? Can I question about this morning? Eh? Aki? Aki, did you wake up this morning?
Yes.
Why?
Because I had to go somewhere.
How many of you woke up because she had to go somewhere? Or did you wake up for some other reason? Yeah? Each of you woke up, right? And each of you have a reason as to why you woke up, right? Aki, did you wash after you woke up?
Yes.
Why?
Because I was dirty.
How many of you think that, how many of you washed the same way that she washed? Or differently? But you all washed, right? Okay. Aki, did you dress up after that?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's a shame.
Okay. Aki, did you eat after that?
Yes.
Why?
Because I was hungry.
Amazing, right? Mundane things you do, never question yourself, but I am just asking as to why. And each one of you in this room had an answer equal to what she had, close to what she had, or something different. As to why you woke up, why you washed, why you dressed, why you ate, why you said, why you gave, why you took, and whatever the transaction, as to why. But all of you all have one word that is common in every answer you all gave. And what is that? Because. Why did you wake up? Because. Why did you wash? Because. Why did you dress? Because. Why did you eat? Because. Why did you give? Because. Why did you say? Because. Every single transaction of your life of the past is all a. And who caused it? I caused it because it benefited me. I caused it because it benefited me. So, what would have happened if the word because didn't exist? Do you think each one of you would have had a past? No because, no past, no cause to have a past. So, enlightenment may be the fact that you now destroy because, the causation. Right? So, take the present now. What are you all doing here? Why? So, even the present, for you to explain what you are doing now, needs a word? No because, no present. Okay, let's go to the future. How many of you plan to sleep tonight? Why? Again, the future is all still a planned because. Yeah. So, this is what Buddha saw with the Satara Paranimiti, those four things that he saw: an old person, a sick person, a dead person, and a recluse monk. He wanted to know as to why. So, now when you consider what we just questioned, if there is a journey that each one of us are making in the samsara, where there is no known beginning to no known end, I am now hanging on to dear life in this samsara, all because of my benefit. This journey is all a because, caused by me, and possessed everything around me as mine. So the past, the present, and the future is all a planned activity by me, and all justified with a because and a because and a because and a because. Now I tell you, just go to a supermarket or mall, stand back and listen to people, and you will hear everybody trying to justify their own with a because and 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 a because. Yeah. And it's beautiful to watch people trying to articulate their benefit, articulate their own selfish ways. And you begin to understand, what are we just trying to justify with a because and a because and a because and a because? This is all you do. From morning till night, it's all a because. From night to morning, it's all a because. Now the one who realizes this and sees of the unwholesomenesses in the because and removes the unwholesomenesses now has the qualities of the right becauses to enlighten. And this is the adjustment you have to make. This is the adjustment. So if you undo the coding in me to make this nature of craving and remove the becauses, there's no more possessiveness. With no possessiveness, there is nothing that I can cling on to. So I, me, mine are separated, enlightened. Is it easy to enlighten? It is. Bhanthé, the way you explained it, it's only a simple undoing I have to do. It's the simplest nature of undoing to do, and I will enlighten. So, I who benefit me always possesses things as mine or not mine. This is always governed by the likes and the dislikes and the expectations. In this nature, the justification is all with a because and 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 a because. Right? And whom am I still talking about? Me. And it doesn't matter what caste, what language, what you speak or what you read. It's the same for all beings. And this is the beauty of the teachings of the Buddha. It doesn't matter who it is, this is true to all living things. All devas, all brahmas, and all humans. Universal. And it is not to worship, it is not to recite, it is not to memorize, it is to be lived. It is to be lived knowingly. This is the value. So, I would now like to come to understanding the simplicity of Chitta Chaitasika and the Rupas. So, each one of us have been born with the nature of what is called the sense faculties. What are sense faculties? What are the sense faculties?
The inputs we take to create myself.
Yeah. So the nature of the eye is a faculty. The ear, the nose, and whatever, right? So, Aki, I want your help now. I want to understand certain things. Yeah? You are able to explain to me, right? So, first of all, I would like to know, Akki, who taught you to look? You can take more time to think. Who taught you to look? L-O-O-K, look.
No one.
Nobody taught. You knew.
Mind.
Your mind taught you to look. So you didn't have to learn from anybody. Amazing, right? So now you have a pair of eyes. There are objects in this world. This eye and the object can never come together unless a willingness to look is present. Amazing, right? If you don't look, you don't see. And nobody taught you to look. So you learned it yourself. Amazing. Thank you. So who taught you to listen? Your mind. Nobody else. So your ear can hear, there is sounds around, and the willingness to listen causes you to hear. And you learned it yourself. Amazing. Who taught you to breathe and smell?
I think natural. No one.
Yeah, amazing, good. Because if by any chance Ammi had to teach you to breathe, do you think she would have taught you by now? No way, no. Lucky that you were able to breathe on your own, no? Right. Who taught you to chew and swallow and taste? Myself, right? Nobody else taught you. Amazing. Who taught you to feel hot and cold, rough and smooth? Who taught you to smile and cry? Who taught you to be happy and sad? So now my question, Pudha, is what did Amma do? If all these things are you, what do you think your mother did? Manners. Good for her. She taught me manners. She taught me to be obedient. She taught me to respect. And she protected me and fed me and fulfill her utter determination, right? So you must value her, no? But she must also say thank you that you came with the pre-configured ability to look and listen and understand what she was trying to tell you. Has she said thank you to you? Actually, that is an important thing to realize, Madhu, right? Yeah. Ammi, if I came without the ability to look, how are you going to do to show me things? You can't. Happy that I came with the ability to listen. So, this mind and the mind elements are something that you need to appreciate that you have. So, now, I would like to understand, ma'am, if you learn to look same way that little daughter has, how do you look today?
How do I look? Same way as I always look.
How critical are you with what you look?
Very.
So you taught yourself to be critical. Critical of others and critical of what others have done or what you are doing.
No.
Not me,
No.
but what others may have done. Why? Why do you think that you have to be critical of what others have done? So do you think you've learned good or learned bad? Do you think that you can readjust yourself now to look and not be critical with what you look?
Yes.
Yes. Why? The criticality is what causes conflict. So I who taught myself with birth how look with criticality and now find fault with everybody around me. So therefore, I do not know how to praise another. I do not know how to reward another. My ability to reward and praise another is low because of the nature of how I look and critically look at things. How about the listening? Have you ever been hurt by what others have said? Have you been irritated with others said?
Yes.
Have you been aggravated by what others said?
Yes.
So, is it what they said, or is it the way you listen to?
The way I listen to it.
And whom have you been blaming up to now?
Quite a lot of people.
So how fair have you been if you learn to listen and listen to what another says and be hurt by what the other said? And it may have been wrong for them to say what they said, but you choose to be hurt with what they say. You choose to be irritated with what they say. You choose to be aggravated with what they say. So who is the cause? Me. Thank you, my dear. I am causing it and I am blaming others. And I chosen to learn it this way. And I still haven't adjusted myself to being able to be rewarding what another says. The same way you can talk about all the sense faculties and you will see how critical you are of what all the others do. As your ego always wants to prove that you are the biggest and the best. Asmiman, I am the biggest, I know it all. Hear me, listen to me, see me. Now, the times that I can't be bigger and better than the other, I always try to belittle the other person. So I look big now. I make the other person feel small. Sayyamana. Now, when I can't be big and when I can't make the other person small, I try to be equal with the other. I am also like that. We also have like that. Sayyamana, Sadisimana. Now, when these three things aren't present, I can't prove that I am bigger and better. I can't belittle the other person, nor can I be equal with the other person. Now the self-pity comes in, and now I get belittled by what the other person does. So the ego is lived in this way. Mania. So I am a great articulator of criticality and always trying to be bigger and better than the other. So the nature of selfishness always wants to always make a gainful outcome, gainful outcome, gainful outcome. So whom am I speaking about still? Me. Bhanthé, you are showing something that I never wanted to look at, but now today I can't avoid it anymore. Can't avoid it. I never knew that I was such a person up to now. Never knew that I was such a person up to now. Why? I had learned the Dhamma, I had learned Buddhism and studied Buddhism, and these things were never told to me. But the teachings of the Buddha is a universality of this nature. And once you begin to see this, now you are halfway on the path. You're halfway on the path. The mere admittance of this, you're halfway on the path. And now you need to understand how to move on in this nature. So the beginning is all about stop blaming another person. Be accountable for what you do with your faculties. Start looking and looking with reward of another. Start listening and never be hurt or irritated or aggravated by what others say. Listen, and if you want to, let it be. That's all they can do. So with the faculties, when you stop being critical, now you begin to understand the neutrality of likes and dislikes. If you reduce the things you like, reduce the things you dislike, now you become lesser affected by other people around you. Now if you learn how to reduce the expectations on other people and now know how to deliver the expectations that others have, life becomes much more calm. A few people occasionally come and say, Bhanthé, my daughter is getting married or my son is getting married. Can you bless them with vows? And one monk who says, yeah, please bring them to me. So my discussion starts, okay, so daughter, do you know how to be in a marriage, in wedded life? She says, yes. Okay, tell me what to do. So they say whatever they want to say. I say, if you want to succeed in a relationship, there are certain things that you have to consider. First thing, you have to learn how to like what the other person likes. In a relationship, if you want to sustain and maintain a relationship, first thing to do is to learn to accept the fact that another person likes something and allow them to like it. And if you can like it, it's even better. Bonus. Why? Whenever they want to live their like, you also get what you like. Yeah. Second thing is to learn to avoid as many a thing another person dislikes. Learn to avoid as many a thing another person dislikes. Third thing, have the least amount of expectations on another person. Don't put too many expectations on the person. Greater the number of expectations, harder when they don't deliver. Number 4, never be surprised by what they say and do. Yeah. Number 5 is always trust them and trust them with what they're doing. And now, with these 5 things, be accountable of your own actions. If you practice this, you will never, never fail in a relationship. If you practice this, you will never fail in a relationship. So in my relationship counseling, this is how I practice it. Just consider them. Just see when people are having difficulty in relationships, you'll find that one of these 5 things are weak. True. This is the application of the teachings of the Buddha into our day-to-day lives, in the transactions. Now, we seem to memorize the Pali, we seem to know all the sutras, but we never seem to know where and when to apply what we've learned. So, I'm a great believer in the practice of the Dhamma. And my practice is not to recite it, but to live it. So, I would like to now just take one other little part to discuss, and that is that when each one of us are born, we are born as sons and daughters. We are all born as sons and daughters. Now, when we are born as sons and daughters to a mother and father, there is something that we have to do. And what is that?
To respect.
Yeah. And what else?
To behave.
And what else?
To obey.
Yeah, and what else? Now Buddha says that you must be dutiful, not beautiful, duty bound. She says that each one of us are indebted and obliged to always pay gratitude and homage to our parents for giving us the opportunity to be born to this world. Yeah? Fair enough? We must always be thankful for our parents for having brought us to this world. So, how many of you have paid your gratitude to your mother and father? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Others? Aki? Sure? How many of you have been able to say thank you and thank you and thank you and thank you mama, thank you mama, thank you amma, thank you amma? Very good, Malli. But take time. In this life of obligation and indebtedness, one of the things you should do in every single relationship that you are responsible for, you should know how to appreciate of another and their performances for your well-being. So you must know how to thank another for what they have done. To no end should you go about saying thank you, 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 and thank you, and thank you. Thank you, Amma, thank you, Amma, thank you, Amma, and thank you, my father, thank you, father, thank you, father, thank you, thank you, and thank you to my brothers and sisters, and thank you to all relations, and thank you to my all friends, and thank you to my spouse, thank you to my children, thank you to my employers and employees, like that. There's no end of thank yous and appreciating of what they did. Yeah. So the other side of this thing is that even the mother and father thanks the children. So you heard Amma saying thank you. Has Amma said thank you to you? Do you know, my do, that because you were born to Ammi, that she began to be called mother. If you are not born, she would not be a mother. It's only because of you she is a mother today. Yeah, she has that responsibility and she has that love to love a child of hers and everything. It's because of you. Has she said thank you for that? She has, but you never acknowledged it. Ammi has said, do thank you for being born to me. Because of you, I have this nature of responsibility as a mother. I have the name of mother, right? Yeah. So she has said, what do you say? When Amma says thank you, what should you say? You are welcome, Amma. You are welcome. Yeah. So now you are a worthy daughter because of this. So you appreciate Amma and Amma appreciates you. So you must say thank you to Amma. Also you must say welcome to Amma because she appreciates you. Because you are an obedient daughter, you are a daughter who respects her, you are kind to her, right? So she says thank you, do. So you must always know how to say you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. So these two transactions are important in understanding. In a relationship, you must know how to appreciate the other person and be appreciated by the other person as well. Now, most of the time, we only know how to blame the other people. Now, we must stop blaming and be appreciative of the other. Now, this is where the looking and the listening comes into effect in the practicality. Long way to go now. So yeah, thank you, welcome. Now, my next question is, how many times do you think you may have blamed Ammi? Few times. Yeah. And who knows that you blamed her? Just me. Yeah. So now what you should do is learn how to ask for forgiveness. Yeah. So you must learn to say, Ammi, I'm sorry, I have blamed you, I have done this wrong, I have said this lie, I'm sorry, Ammi, I'm sorry. Now when you say like this, you must also know that Ammi says, and she says, you're forgiven daughter, you're forgiven do. So you must now know, I asked for forgiveness, she forgave me, I now have received forgiveness. So everybody must do this transaction where you ask for forgiveness and you must also know how to receive the forgiveness that you have asked for. In a transaction. This is Vipassana Bhavana. And now Buddha, Ammi also says at times, my I'm sorry that I may have said something wrong, done something wrong, disrupted the things you like and made you do some things you don't like. I'm sorry, I may not have fulfilled your expectations, my I'm sorry, I may have done more for Malli and not for you, I'm sorry. Like this, Amma is asking for forgiveness. So what you should say, Amma? How do you say forgive? It's okay, Amma, it's okay, I forgive you, Amma, it's okay, that's okay, I'm also okay, yeah? Okay. Now, this sounds like a joke. Appreciation of another with a thank you, being appreciated by the other with a welcome, and acknowledgement with a welcome, asking for forgiveness in another person, and forgiving another person. It sounds silly, but the words of Satara Brahma Vihara, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka, these four things in transaction is what I just explained to you. So, Metta Bhavana, right? When you do Metta Bhavana, it's not just the nature of radiating love or kindness to others. It's about this nature of transaction, these 4 transactions with each role. As a son or a daughter with the mother and the father. As a brother or sister with other brothers and sisters. In relationships, whoever the relations you have to do this. With the nature of friends, of Kalyana Mitras, you must go with every friend and do with this. With your spouse, you have to do this. With a parent, you should do this. Right? As an employer or an employee, with all the people that you employ or work with, you have to do this. With your teachers and students, you should do this. With all the people you trade with, you should do this. Once you have got to that point, you are floating. You are floating. Now, can you feel the lightness inside you already? You float. Now, this is what is called levitation. You actually can levitate now. Yeah, Brahma Viharas are adequate to levitate. Why? You come to the second, third jhanas now. Simple meditation. It's not in a book though, no? Never written in a book anywhere. But it's a practicality that you need to consider of Brahma Viharas. Yeah? So, when you reconsider the nature of this Buddha's teaching, it is as simple as this. It's as simple as this. So, I would like to just to consider, right, a very little explanation of the nature of Dhamma and the Noble Truths. Now, Buddha says that this existence of ours is to be seen in the 4 Noble Truths. How many of you know the 4 Noble Truths? The Chaturari Satya. What are they?
Sorrow.
The suffering.
The reason for sorrow.
The causation of suffering, yeah?
The elimination of suffering.
Elimination of the cessation of suffering.
And the nirvana.
Of the path, So, dukkha satya, samudaya satya, nirodha satya, marga satya. He says that these 4 things are what is universally present in this universe. The nature of the existence of experience of suffering, the causation for the suffering, the cessation of the suffering, and the path to the cessation of the suffering. Now, understanding this academically is good. Can you look at it in a practical manner? Let's talk about it. Man, when you are sat in the way that you are sat, if you sit for a while, what happens to this body?
Becomes uncomfortable.
It becomes unpleasant, uncomfortable, and numb, and pain is present. Have the pain. Dukkha. Dukkha, the suffering and the causation of the suffering. So, do you know how to eradicate this unpleasantness?
Stand up.
Oh, she knows that if she changes the posture, that she can overcome the pain. The cessation of the suffering. So now what do? Without anybody's permission, you choose to change your posture and now start a new cycle of pleasantness. So, whatever you do in this world, they fall into these 4 categories. It falls into an experience, it then falls into a causation of that experience. Whenever the experience is deteriorating, you know how to renew it, the cessation of it, and now you know how to go about doing so. So now do you think that all of you have been living the 4 Noble Truths? Yeah. Not that you have been living the 4 Noble Truths. You've been living your life, but if you look through the, the framework of the 4 Noble Truths, everything I have done fall into these 4 categories. That is the Dhamma. So the teachings of the Buddha is all about giving you what is called Dhamma, and these Dhammas are nothing other than some things like cookie cutters, biscuit cutters. Yeah, All what you have to do is to take the next experience and put this cutter, and it will cut to this framework. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what the experience is. So let's take hunger. Yeah? How many of you have been hungry? So is hunger a pleasant or unpleasant experience? Unpleasant, dukkha. So why does a hunger come? Because my stomach is empty. Causation. So experience of dukkha is present only with the causation. Now what have you learned when hunger is present? How can you overcome hunger?
By eating.
All right. So you already have accepted that if you eat something, that this hunger goes away. So now what do? Yeah, go to somewhere, take something that is prepared, serve yourself, and stick it inside, and the moment you experience it, it's gone. The dukkha, the experiential component, the causation of it, what you accepted as how to overcome it, and the practicality of eating. So it doesn't matter what you are doing, you can break it up to these four things. So a person who has learned to look at every life transaction through these four things is a person who is enlightened. Why? They begin to see the causation and they begin to see the way the cessation is brought on board. Now with the abstinences and the changing of the justification of the because in it, you now free yourself of the defilement. Right? So for a little discussion today, this is enough. But maybe that as time goes on in the next few days, we will reiterate it from some different angles. And you will begin to start seeing how simple this nature of the Dhamma is. So we can bring about the Eightfold Path on a discussion and come to the same point. We can bring the dependent originations and come to the same point. We can bring the eight Ashtaloka Dhamma, the eight worldly conditions and come to the same point. Right? Doesn't matter what the points are. We can come to the same discussion from any of the cookie cutters of the Dhamma. And I think that we should do some of these things as time goes on. So we're coming to a time, I think it's coming to close to 9 o'clock or so. We've been sat here for over 2 hours. How many of you felt the 2 hours go? Normally 1 hour's discussion is adequate in Dhamma, no? At the moment, we don't want to stand up and go even, want to investigate even more. So this is the nature of the truth of the Dhamma. When it's spoken in the practicality, it is so pleasant. You don't feel time move on. So in the interest of everybody who's here, who's experiencing, today is a holiday, right? Tomorrow is also a holiday, right? So, but let's officially bring this discussion to a close in a way, and I open the floor for you all to question certain things and see if we can find an answer or two for you all. So I open you all to ask me any questions you all have.
Is there many different types of meditation, or is all meditation eventually the same? Is there really a difference in different types of meditation?
Yes is the answer. Meditation, if I'm to explain, right, is about the nature of the mind. The nature of the mind can either be one-pointed or it can be the other way, where the mind can be investigating. Samatha, Vidarshana. These are the two techniques. You can be one-pointed with your concentration, or you can be investigating. So when you're one-pointed and by any chance the one-pointedness breaks, your mind is now in Vidarshana, is investigating, running around. Now, this one-pointedness mind or the Vidarshana mind is always disrupted by 5 things called the 5 hindrances. Yeah? Kamachanda, Vyapada, Tinamidda, Uddhacha, Kukucha, Vichikiccha. Now, this nature of this mind in its one-pointedness or the Vidarshana, when it goes inside yourself, inside yourself. Now that is called insight. Insight. So when you now concentrate on your breathing or anything like that, it's insight. So samatha is one thing, vidarshana is one thing, and this insight is called vipassana. These are the three things that are there. So when you now investigate the external world, it's in samatha or vipassana, vidarshana. When it goes in samatha to inside the body, it's called vipassana. Now there are about 40 one-pointedness objects that you can meditate on, and about 20 vidarshana objectives that you can consider. There's about 60 techniques that are there, and they are all related with character and personality. And now it becomes very personal as to do these things. But what is universal in every one of us is the nature of anapanasati, the nature of the breathing. He says that each one of us, when we are born, till the time we now die, this body has to breathe, has to inhale and exhale. Yeah? Everybody has to inhale and exhale to survive. This is done either when you are awake or when you are asleep. So this body is either awake or either sleep. In both these cases, you have to breathe. You have to breathe. And then he says that this body has to be kept in one of three postures. Whether it is awake or sleeping, it has to be either standing, upright, sitting, or sleeping, lying down. When it's lying down, if he wants to stand, it has to sit to stand. If it's standing, if it's to lie down, it has to sit and lie down. This is how this posture is managed. So, anapanasati is a posture of being sat, being awake, and to breathe in and exhale. Do you think you've been doing it up to now? Yeah. Now what you need to bring about is the mindfulness of the physicality and the breath that goes in and the breath that comes out, and investigate the qualities around it. Yeah. So a person who very simply understands the simplicity of this mind and now understand the mindfulness. Now we can go into some depth as to understand how to bring about the meditation in this way. So there are a lot of techniques, and depending on the way the hindrances are brought on board, you need to know how to remove a hindrance. How to remove the hindrances. So let's take one hindrance. How many of you know sloth and torpor? Sloth and torpor. Tina midda. Laziness, sleepiness. How many of you have it? The moment you sit to meditate and close your eyes, some command goes somewhere saying, your eyes are closed, now sleep. So why do you think we are lazy? Why do you think we get sleepy? I call it compensated recovery. Mokada? Compensated recovery. Now, how many of you have lived a day without breakfast? Yeah? You know what when you don't get breakfast one day? 10 o'clock or so, what happens? Yeah, you feel starving. So you go and slowly find a chocolate or something and quickly eat because I haven't had breakfast. And then 12 o'clock comes. Now lunchtime. Now what happens? You remember I didn't have breakfast. Now what do? Serve an extra spoon of lunch. And then 3 o'clock comes and you still remember I didn't have breakfast. Now you justify yourself for dunking biscuits somewhere. Yeah, you take up a tea, take a couple of biscuits, dunk. Why? I didn't have breakfast. Now even at dinner maybe you still remember that I didn't have breakfast, you eat something extra. Actually when you consider all the extras you've had about 3 times more than breakfast, just to catch up on the lost breakfast. And this nature of catching up is what is called sloth and torpor, being lazy with what you have lost in the past. It's the same with sleep. The moment you are late with your sleep or have less sleep, now you spend all day trying to catch up on lost sleep, losing the present moment all the time. Compensated recovery. Dinamidda. Just look at it. Just look at it. We are the laziest and always want to compensate what we lost and never want to understand what we have to do to survive the next 24 hours. Yeah? So, today I took one meal, and with that meal I determined that that meal is adequate for me to wait till the next meal I get. When will I get the next meal? Don't know. What if they forget to offer me? Then I have to wait another day. So until the next meal is the determination, so I will wait. So I don't take anything in the morning, not even a cup of tea, and even in the evening. Now today I have had a cup of tea. That's it. Rest is all water. Can you survive? Very well. So there's no compensation recovery. There's no compensation to recover saying that, oh, today's dana was not enough. It doesn't happen. I determine that whatever that is offered to me is the most nourishing, is adequate for my quantity, and I'm happy with it. So no tina midda. So even if I have to stay up tonight, I'll stay up and that will not bother me. Because the mind understands the determination of how to be. The mind understands how to reason this thing out and deal with it. So in this mind and the meditation, there are a few things now you have to learn how it appears and what to do to overcome what appears. So certain things in reasoning, certain things you have to use a technique to get it out. And that metta meditation that we spoke about, thank you, welcome, well, I'm sorry, it's okay. Important thing to do before meditation. Then you remove all the anger and all the aversive thoughts that come of relationships. So like that you have to learn your practice. Yeah? So thank you for asking. Okay.
Sorry, only the meditation, is it enough to reach the goal that we expect? Or if there are different people meditate, like Hindus, they do their meditation, like West, they do meditation, Buddhist, they have their ways. Is it all goes to the same level, or
yeah, let's go and explain what he's asking of meditation. Is only meditation adequate to get to your objective? Take the word medication, not meditation, but medication. So when you are prescribed medicine, yeah, you go to the shop and buy the medicine and come. Is it enough?
No.
Then what do you have to do?
You take it as per the prescription.
You have to take it as the prescription. And what else do you think you have to do?
Take nourishment, rest.
You have to take some nourishment with it, you have to take some rest with it, and you have to take, so like that there are a lot more things that make. So yes, when you meditate, you have to do meditation as, but there may be certain things in nourishment, in sustenance, that you have to continue to fulfill as well. Yeah. And those things are only known by you, because it is you who are perceived as what is needed for you to sustain. You are the one who knows how many times that you have to take a natural break. You are the one who knows how much of liquid and solids that you have to consume for your survival. You are the one who knows what is nourishing for you. So like that, there are certain conditions. And then it is that tells you what meditation and what the outcome of that meditation is for you in the reasoning. But meditation is required for you to be able to receive what is called wise attention, yoniso manasikara. Without that yoniso manasikara and the wise attention, you can't reason out the truth, and you can't be spontaneous with that justification. So sthanojita prajna doesn't come. So you must be spontaneous. Like I had experience. My first year of a monk, I went back to the UK, and I was in Epsom, December 22nd of that year. I remember the day. As a friend of mine was in hospital and I was invited to go, so I was in robes, The temperature would have been about 3 degrees or so. So I got off the car, I didn't have shoes or socks, only this robe like this, and I walked into the Epsom hospital. So there was a lady in the reception, covered in a jacket and all these things with a headscarf and whatever. She looked at me and said, "Oh, you're not wearing shoes." She said, "You're not wearing shoes." So humble as I was, I bent my head, smiled and walked in. And she would have thought, here's a man from the jungle who's come, doesn't know what cold and snow is, right, and doesn't understand English. So the lady was coming behind me and he asked, "Why isn't he wearing shoes?" So this lady tried to explain to this person, saying he is a monk, he has taken some vows and not to wear slippers and whatever. I said, "Nangi, don't say any of those things. Don't say any of those things." I went to the lady and said, "Ma'am, if by any chance I was brought in here in a stretcher, on a stretcher, lying down with no shoes, would my no shoes be a problem to you?" She looked at me. I said, "Ma'am, if I was wheeled in here on a wheelchair with no shoes, would my shoes still be a problem to you? Now that I'm stood up and walking, ma'am, with no shoes, why is it a problem to you?" And then I asked her, "Ma'am, how many people in this hospital at this present moment are walking around with no shoes?" Everybody who is a sick person in a bed is with no shoes. So what is about my shoes? And if I wore shoes, ma'am, it will be more skin of another animal than my own skin. She looked at me and said, "Wise man, I just walked in to the ICU as I went in there not to infect anybody, but to now give some blessing to a lady and come back." And she, in 10 days, also came out of the ICU, though she is passed away now. So like this, for that moment, you need to have some understanding as to reason out the wiseness. I don't want to prove that I could walk in the cold or whatever, but that's what I chose that day. And there's no rule to say that I have to be in shoes in hospitals, is it? But I know that there is a law in planes, right? You are not allowed to walk into a gangway or into an aircraft without any shoes. You are not allowed to walk on a tarmac without shoes. That's a FAA rule. And 3 times in Australia, I was banned from getting on a flight because I didn't have shoes. So now in my bag, with my 8 requisites, one of the requisites I carry is a 9th, is a pair of slippers. When on an aircraft, to satisfy the law, I wear the pair of slippers. So like that, I think what is important is that meditation in the case is important. But with meditation, one of the things you must do is you must learn to be appropriate. Meditation on its own is inadequate. You must know how to be appropriate with yourself in the surroundings. Next is that you must know to be adequate with yourself. Adequacy. Third, you must know how to be sufficient with yourself, as that will bring the nature of satisfaction and the nature of contentment. And now if you are all 4 of those things, appropriate, adequate, sufficient and satisfied with meditation, I think that you will be okay to get to the goal that you have. And now you understand what appropriateness is, what adequacy is, what sufficiency is, and what the nature of satisfaction is. Brings contentment. There may be that you may also have to know a little bit more about the nature of you being dependent on another and how dependent you are, how interdependent the 2 of you are in relationship, and how the nature of independency is brought when you are dependent only on yourself. And when you realize this understanding of these 3 words, now you may bring something else to your meditation. Simplicity. Otherwise, the expectation causes the suffering and won't give you the objective. Because once you have understood and realized what I'm saying, I have a sheet of paper. I haven't finished it. An A4 sheet of paper where I have put down the practicality of enlightenment. What are the physicality things that you have to do to enlighten? The 37 qualities of the enlightenment associated with purification and Eightfold Path. So I think for some of you all who have academically come somewhere, happy to share that with you all, because it may give you a summary of what you need to salvage in what you've studied. To salvage something out of what you studied, I think it will give you a good summary. Happy to share it with you. So we'll see whether we can get a printout, sort it out, and distribute it out. That will tell you whether meditation is adequate or whether you want some more things. Sila Samadhi Prajna. And we'll come to a discussion of that later. So happy that I was able to share this day and this evening with all of you all. To me, I have no home to go to and I have no other commitments, so I'm okay. But I know that you all have, maybe some have not had dinner either, no? Because I started here at 5 o'clock, so I know the home folk haven't had anything to eat. And puta, no? So hungry stomachs as well. So in the interest of the naturality and the breaks that you need, I would like to thank all of you all for your participation and your patience that you've endured. Let us all consider the merit we've gained by seeing ourselves in the nature of I, me, mine, the nature of the likes, dislikes, and the expectations, and the justification or the creation of the formation of the becauses or the causation of myself. May each one of you, with the merit of seeing this nature of self and this selflessness, be able to bestow the benefits in your well-being, your happiness, your peace and contentment. May you be able to share this merit with all the friends and all the relations and those who have died in your own name. May all the living beings be able to share this nature of all the merit that we have offered. May all of you be happy, healthy, peaceful and content. Please accept this blessing in Pali in silence. Sabbhitiyo vibhajjantu sabbharogo vinassatu mate bhavatpantarayo sukhi digaipo bhavatu sabbha mangalang rakkantu sabbha devata sabbha buddhanubhavena sabbha dhammanubhavena sabbha sanghanubhavena sadha sutti bhavantu te dukkha patta ca nindukka bhaya patta ca nibbhaya sukha patta ca nissukha antu sabbhe pipanino Abhivadana Silisa Nityang Vajjapachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddhanti Ayuvanno Sukham Balam Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminyate Saminjatu. Soup.
At this moment, let us here consider to achieve Nibbana this lifetime by buying 3 times.
Kamami kamitabang niduk nirog supat viva supat. To remember this discussion, I would like to offer each one of you a little thread. If you want to come close to me and receive one. You can ask somebody to tie it for you, yeah? Ed. Come, sir. A friendship band for you to keep. Here's one for your little sister. There you are. Let mom and dad come later. Thank you for your participation, though. Tak ada either. Puta. There you are. Malfu is sleepy. Teruvan Sarnai Puta. Teruvan Sarnai. Teruvan Sarnai. Sukhi ho.